Hello again, guys. It's Andrew Wright with another Review the Right Thing, and finally coming back to you with another review. However, today's going to be my first video game review. Man, I gotta take a drink real quick because my mouth tastes like garbage. My dad just bought me this trail mix stuff. I think it might actually be used for baking, but regardless, it's just nuts and dried fruit. It should taste pretty good. I think he got it on sale. It's not expired. Man, it just tastes like plastic and chemicals, and I've had that taste in my mouth for like the last 20 minutes, and that stuff is just not good. This stuff, however, is pretty tasty. I'm a fan of the Voodoo Ranger, the New Belgium line. They're doing a fall release, so spicy atomic pumpkin. It's pretty tasty. But anyways, let's get back to this. Ghost of Tsushima. I've mentioned it a couple times now. It is partly the reason why I have not been doing reviews lately. Can't really do reviews on things that I'm not paying attention to, I guess. So, I mean, I've been listening to some music, obviously. Haven't been really watching anything, except for The Umbrella Academy, the newest season that's on right now. Enjoying it. Definitely not as much, but it's a cool story. So, you know, TV shows are one of those things where there's either this overarching theme that's going on, and the seasons are interconnected. I think these are very loosely connected. It feels like this season has little to do with last season, other than, you know, the reason why this season is happening, which seems like it doesn't make any sense, because it's like, well, yeah, Andrew, that would make sense. The season, you know, should be a continuation of what happened. That's exactly what you said it's not. But, like, it almost feels like the events from the first season don't matter. And that's the part that's weird. So anyways, but Ghost of Tsushima is pretty amazing. I've put about probably 30, 40-ish hours into it at this point. Basically, you know, partly way through the second act in the story. Believe that there's just 3 acts. That's what I've heard from a lot of people on the internet. A couple buddies of mine are playing it. A couple buddies of mine have beaten it already. I just can't devote that much time to one specific thing. You know, had this been 10 years ago, maybe, you know, because I didn't have much of a life, you know, and just went to work, and I could go home and watch movies and stuff like that, or play video games. But now I've got a fiance, I've got dogs, I've got responsibilities that you just kind of get as you get older. So now I can't just... There are days I can sit and play for 4 hours at a time, but then I got to get up and I got to do something. I got, you know, yard to mow, I've got laundry to do, other chores, cleaning, yada, 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 cooking dinner, not doing anything, just sitting and enjoying a beer and not thinking about the world and the, you know, everything that's going on at the moment. So sometimes you just want to unwind and just shut off and not do anything. And so video games require a lot of, you know, attention and reaction, and, you know, it's just sometimes you're just not feeling that. So, you know, I've been obviously balancing my time. I can't just put 40 hours or 100 hours into a game over a 7-day period and be done with it. So obviously this game's been out for a few weeks now. Everybody and their brother's playing it. Everybody and their brothers reviewed it. However, since I work in retail, I see a lot of people are, you know, even just now picking it up. You know, they've waited for all the reviews, all the hype, and, you know, now they're just now getting into it. So, you know, it's not super late to do this review, but obviously it's not as meaningful at the moment for a lot of people because they've either finished it or are currently playing, whatever. Even the people who are currently playing, though, can probably still enjoy this review, or that have finished playing. But I'm surprised to say I haven't watched any reviews personally, so I'll just say that right off the bat. So if I'm saying something to somebody else, it's probably just because we have similar tastes. Things end up coming out differently from like-minded people, or coming out similarly from like-minded people. So anyways, I'm going to actually just start with a couple critiques first, because to me, I could stop this review right now and say I personally would give it a 10. That is just my feelings towards it. However, a couple things I'm pretty biased. So that's why I want to give you the critiques first, and from there, then you can decide on whether my 10 is accurate to how you feel about the game, or, is yours at 8, 7, 9, whatever. So, anyways, critiques first. This game is basically just like Grand Theft Auto, or Grand Theft Auto mixed with Assassin's Creed, because it's got very similar elements to Assassin's Creed with the combat, but then it's open world like a Grand Theft Auto or a Red Dead Redemption. So there is a lot of, similarities, and it can feel just like a lot of those other games. And so that's a mild critique, though, in my opinion, because I love those type of games. If it's anything I like to do, and I'm sure many people feel the same, it's just walking around and screwing around. Like, you don't necessarily have to just do missions. This you more or less do, because obviously there's only so much you can do when you interact with your environment. Once you've found all the shrines, once you've spotted all the fox dens, taken over all the different territories, stuff like that, there's not much to do afterwards, in terms of exploration, and other than just sheer awe of the environment and how beautiful everything looks. So there is that, but obviously that only goes so far as well. So, so those are very much critiques for the game, because, like, it can become a little bit repetitive if that type of thing becomes repetitive to you. To me, it doesn't. It doesn't make or break a game, and so I still think it's pretty incredible. I like the exploration and stuff like that, even if it's, very, in a box, because obviously you can't just go out and steal cars. You're not, once you've freed the territories, there's not exactly Mongols running around. There are once in a while on the roads, so you do run into them. However, I assume once the game is complete, you can't just go out and screw around, because there's not going to be anything to do. Like in Grand Theft Auto, you can basically just go steal cars and do a whole bunch of other stuff, for 45 minutes to an hour, and it was just as enjoyable as it was the first time. So this one, I'm sure, is not going to have that same afterplay value, unless, obviously, like me, this is where the bias comes in, is I really love samurai films. This is obviously very much an ode to Kurosawa, but I love those kind of movies, and I love the story that comes along with that. I very much also love Westerns, and so these were the, basically the Japanese Westerns, essentially. The samurai film was what the American Western was to us, similar to what the samurai film is to the Japanese culture. And so I love these types of movies. I love the characters in them. I love the story, obviously, maybe personal redemption, or, just the different dynamics that go along with the different characters that they become involved in. Obviously, in this game, there's a million different side quests to do. There's tons of different characters to meet, and they all have different stories, and it's all just very interesting. So I really love that. So the replay value, I think, is still going to be there even afterwards. Maybe a couple years down the line, I find myself I really want to play Ghost of Tsushima again, and so I'll just pop it in and redo the entire game. Because also the combat's really awesome. It's, like I said, similar to Assassin's Creed in its combat, maybe mixed with a little bit of Batman. However, there's no combo-based stuff like Batman. You can't chain as much together when you're killing people. It's a little bit more of like, here's this guy, here's this guy. At the very beginning when I was playing, you can, I guess, like, chain your attacks a little bit more. The guys will give an alert, and then you can kind of use your arrow and attack and then get to them. I didn't figure that out as well, and now I've learned how to play my own way, and so I don't even use that. Even something as small as sidestepping was hard for me, because I just got, in a lot of those types of games, I do a lot of rolling, I do a lot of button mashing, and so it was hard for me to get out of that, and so combat was a little bit of a learning curve for me. I love the Dark Souls and Demon Souls games, however, I'm not good at them, and I acknowledge that. So those are just too tough for me. Sekiro is just too difficult. I can't play those types of games. You know, I'm really into like the side-scrolling platformers, shooters, stuff like that. 16-bit graphics, that's more my thing. However, obviously, I very much, there's an appeal to broader spectrum, but the hardcore gaming is just something that I don't have the time to put into it. And as a kid, I never put that time into it as well. I had other interests such as movies and music, and so, you know, my passions lied elsewhere. I couldn't just focus 100% on video games. So this was still a little bit of a difficult learning curve for me. Eventually was able to figure it out, and now combat has become almost second nature to me. So anyways, let's see where I was going to go afterwards, though. Since I've totally forgotten my train of thought, I have to pick up somewhere else. So anyways, we'll come back to the replayability, because obviously I'm going to replay it again. I enjoy it, and if you like those kind of stories and, you know, basically this style of combat, this style of open world, it would be something that you would probably like to, you know, revisit later on in the future as well. Oh man, I'm starting to regain what I was thinking about. 16-bit graphics. Damn. Oh well, it's gonna probably be gone, and that's okay. We'll continue. So anyways, as far as any more critiques do I have with the game, I probably should have thought about more of that before I started this review. However, you know, like Robo when he does his foolish reviews, rambling, that also, some of that requires research. So there's a lot of similarities here. I ramble. There's also research I don't do. Because, you know, it just makes sense. But to me, I just like to get up here and just talk. You know, it feels more natural. Maybe you guys hate it. Maybe some of you as well, it feels more natural. It feels like I'm speaking to you. We're having a conversation. But that's what I like about it. And so critiques, like I said, I would have had to write those down. That would have made sense. But now that I haven't, I guess my only critique was basically that, how it can get a little bit monotonous, like I said, a little repetitive, but that doesn't bother me per se. So I guess then continuing on with why I would give it a 10. This is probably one of the prettiest games I've played in a long time. I mean, like I said, you know, there might only be so much you can do as far as just the exploration, in terms of the exploration, because once you've found all the shrines and the baths and your haikus and your bamboo strikes and yada yada yada, there's not as much to basically look for anymore, except for just admire how good everything looks. The terrain in this game is amazing. Like, it looks so real at times that it's kind of mind-blowing. The lighting is incredible. You know, everything, whether it's, you know, bright daylight outside and everything has its, like, you know, natural, very vivid, bold colors, or whether it's, you know, sunset and everything's got this orange glow on it, or whether it's nighttime and everything's got this cooler kind of blue look to it. Everything just looks so pretty. And the environment, there's just so much detail to it, because obviously you're playing on this huge grand map. I mean, it's not huge. I can't say it's any bigger than a lot of other games. It's probably smaller than some. I'm sure it's smaller than Grand Theft Auto 5. But it's still, like, the fact that the map is still as big as it is and everything has got as much detail as it does is just mind-blowing. Like, I feel like they looked into every little thing, Sucker Punch Studios, when making this game. The detail, the keen eye for every little observation is just awesome. And it pays off in a huge way. Like I said, prettiest game I've played in quite a long time. You know, I've seen in other videos, obviously other people have brought it up, the blood spatter when you're killing people, it goes exactly where you slash somebody, whether you're slashing somebody over to the, from left to right or right to left, or, left upper to lower right, whatever, the blood goes where you slash. And that is one of those things that I feel like it gets done correctly in certain games. I haven't seen it done as well in a game until this, though. And even then when the blood lands on the ground, like, it stays on the ground. A lot of other games that memory would get used up for something else, reload in the process of you moving or something. You might leave and then come back to an area and something might not be as exactly the same as when you left. Things reload, and when you leave, I'm sure when you leave an area and come back in this, and I'm sure things change, but the fact that those little details are so spot on and so well done when they're done, it's just hard to, ignore them. It's just, wow. It's just great. I would say every little thing in this game is also super satisfying. Like I said, obviously it's very pretty to look at and everything, and it's vivid, and the shadow and the light, everything is just so pristine, and can't even really describe it. You just have to play it. But so not only is that so satisfying, but then even the combat being, a mash of other games, Sucker Punch just did such a great job with it. Like, they've added enough little flares to basically beef up that already, pretty basic combat system. Obviously I think that's how Batman kind of even beefed it up a little bit, because it feels like a button mash beat 'em up game, but obviously then you can chain attacks together. There's other things that you can do to kind of mix it up a little bit to add to that entertainment. Obviously with this, you have things like standoffs when you first walk up to a Mongolian encampment, or if even just, bandits or Mongolians on the road, you can walk up and do this thing called standoff, and you basically just classic duel with one person, and whoever slashes first obviously is the victor. And you can eventually upgrade that. You start off with being able to take out one guy, and then basically you can add to that every so often. I've gotten to the point now to where I can take out 3, so I'll obviously challenge the first person that walks to me, I'll take him down, and then it's almost like a cutscene kind of rotates. People are running at you real slow motion. You can either hit X or not X, triangle or square, and slash them down. Basically, obviously, if you time it up too fast, you miss, and they get you. And they get you really good, because if they hit you when you miss in those standoffs, it takes away like all of your health. You have to heal, or else you're gonna get, the next stab is basically your last. So the combat's difficult enough to where, if you are kind of just dicking around and not really paying attention, you can get fucked up pretty fast. This game is not like also where I feel like a lot of games give you a little bit more leeway as far as, hey, I'm fighting this guy, there's a guy here who's going to attack, but you've got enough time to react and do something. And in this game, it's not really much different. However, if you're dicking around and you take that little extra step, or you get a little bit too cocky, you can get dicked. You can get fucked up real fast, because 10 guys all coming at you at the same time and not really giving you as much leeway as you would think based on other games and other combat systems you may be used to, this one's going to sneak up on you. And those guys are definitely, the AI is not written the same as it is in other games, and so that obviously also adds to the challenge and also to the entertainment value. To me, that makes it more captivating. I'm more involved now, because the stakes are more risky. I can just button mash and roll around and dodge and then roll back and slash somebody else, but it's obviously a lot more risky, and if I'm not smart about it, I can die a lot faster. You have to kind of back up, and there's times where I'll even roll away from everyone to try to kind of gauge what I'm going to do next. You have to rely on parries too. Whereas, like I said, I'm in a lot of those games, I'm more of a roller. I roll, and instead of, sidestepping to dodge, I roll out of the way a lot. However, this doesn't work as well. If I'm rolling out of the way, I'm too far for any sword slashes or anything. Like, it's a little bit more realistic. I can't just hurry up and get up to somebody. Like, if I roll away, I've got a good 10 steps before I've got to get to them again. And by that time, they've already turned and are facing me, and they're ready to block. So the combat system, again, like I said, since I'm a little bit more used to a little bit more freedom, and I guess more forgiveness when it comes to that kind of thing, this was something I had to basically reteach myself, because I couldn't just roll and expect to hit somebody. If I rolled, I'm too far. I've got to run back to him, and by that time, he's already ready for me. So that doesn't work. I had to get used to parrying and sidestepping. And so, that mixed with everything else that's going on in the game just added to my increased enjoyment into this game, into this world. It's really fun. It's really fun. It's really fun. It's really fun. It's just really fun. It's just really fun. You should just try it. Just try it. Just try it. It's really fun. Just try it. You should really try it. It's really fun. Anyways, I'm done with that. I thought it'd be funny because I couldn't really think of what else I wanted to say afterwards. I mean, there's not really much else to add, I guess, because I didn't really want to go overboard in what I was saying about this game, because obviously a lot of people have already reviewed it. I'm sure people have watched plenty of gameplay footage of the game, and you already kind of know what you're getting into, I would think, at this point. And at this point, if you haven't played it, stop watching videos and just play the damn game. It's really fun. If you don't have a PlayStation, I'm really sorry. I know you can't just go out and spend $300, and even then, they're so hard to get right now because since a lot of people are out of work, I know at least in my, the place I work, I'm in retail as well, so I can't speak for, everyone, but even Target and Best Buy right down the street from, the store that I work at, they're basically always out of consoles. So I would assume that other states are being hit similarly, other areas are being hit similarly. So even if you wanted to just go out and buy a PlayStation 4 to play this game, it's not exactly accessible at the moment, which sucks for a lot of people. So yeah, I understand if that's the reason for watching reviews, watching gameplay footage. You're living vicariously through other people because you don't have another option at the moment. And for those people, I really mourn for you because you're missing out on this incredible experience. And I'm sorry you can't share it with everybody else. And I hope soon you'll be able to, because it is well worth the wait and well worth all the hype. And I guess, the only other thing I want to add, like I said, everything is just really satisfying. Walking up on Mongolians in the road, taking them out, walking up on bandits in the middle of the road, taking them out, going to shrines so that you could go up to the top and pray to, their ancestors, their spirits, everyone that they look up to in their culture. I can't speak for them. Obviously, it's not God because they don't believe in a God. And I'm not sure if it's Buddha because that could be China, which is Buddhist. Again, I'd have to do some research because right now, off the top of my head, I don't know those things. I should, and I've heard them, in passing throughout life. Things obviously just come and go. My mind goes a million miles an hour sometimes, hence the rambling, hence why it doesn't feel as good for me to write things down because it doesn't feel as natural. I feel so robotic and I'm not expressive, and it's just, if somebody else wanted to write it for me, sure, by all means. But then you're going to have to know how I feel about stuff, and again, that's just, getting somebody else involved is just so much work at the moment. I don't even have enough time for myself to sit and do this between recording it and editing it and, obviously exposing myself to the material and really getting, a feel for it to where I can come and give an accurate review or feeling or anything, whatever you want to call it. But I can't do any of those things, obviously easily without just, dedicating a whole bunch of time to it. So I can, but it obviously just requires the time, which I don't have all the time. So adding another person to the mix and having to bounce the ideas off of them and get them notes and things like that would just add so much more to it, and just not something I want to do. So hence, we'll continue with these kind of reviews, and if you like it, great. I hope so, and I hope you continue to watch. But I was way off tangent. Going back to it, like I said, everything in this game was just satisfying, down to all the little elements I've already described, to everything as big as the environment and how gorgeous everything looks. Every fine detail was just so rewarding and so refreshing, and I can't wait to play another, I don't know, however long, 40 hours or more, I'm assuming. I don't really know. I have not looked into Endgame, how long it took people to complete it, doing everything, because I've been hitting 100%. Like, I am now in Act 2, progressing, into this center area of the 3-part map. I have completely gotten the southern half of everything, all the shrines that I couldn't get to before because you have to upgrade different things. You have this hook attachment that's basically like Batman's grappling gun, and it gets you to obviously different areas of the map that you can't get to before. So I went back and explored all those areas that I wasn't able to get to, and so southern map is completely done. I have nothing else to do, and so I'll have to look into the game somehow. I'm sure it shows how much time I've put into it, so I'll have to find that out. Like I said, I'm assuming around 40 hours. If I had to guess, a couple hours a day. It's been out for 3 weeks. Yes, I mean, at least. I mean, I'm not averaging 2 hours every day. I'm not even playing every day, but I'm playing almost every day. Sometimes, sometimes multiple days in a row. Sometimes I won't play for a day. Really depends on work schedule, because obviously on the days where I'm working 12 hours, I'm not coming home at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. After I make dinner, after I spend some time with my fiance, I'm not logging onto the PlayStation to play this game, so there's days like that are getting missed. And so anyways, 40 is a guesstimate in terms of what I have left, if I did everything to 100% completion. So like I said, if this game is 80 hours or more, I am so looking forward to it, and I cannot wait. And even at this point, nothing's become monotonous. So like I said, the little bit of critiques that I had at the beginning for this game are literally just to try to give you something so I don't sound biased, because like I said, there's elements to this game that add to my bias that I'm going to like it regardless, and so my 10 may be merited, but you might also be able to look at it and be like, well, it's not a perfect game. There are things that, are already like this, and it was already done in this, and arguably it's better in this. Maybe people don't feel that way. Maybe the things that are already done in other games that this game does, maybe people feel are better. I can't say for certain whether I feel that they're better, because I don't know if I do. So there you go. They're probably not better. Obviously, there are elements that then are better than other games that have been done similarly. Wow, this is beginning to sound confusing, so let me just say there's probably things like this that have been done before in other games that are worse, and this is obviously probably improved on other things. That sounds way better, not nearly as... So, with that being said, I can't wait for another 40 hours. I'm really enjoying it. I still stand by my 10 score on it. I think it's the prettiest game of the year. I hope it gets Game of the Year. I think it well deserves Game of the Year. Unfortunately, this year couldn't really give us a whole lot else. There was things that were supposed to come out. I think Cyberpunk was one of those, which I was really looking forward to, that are not going to come out before the end of the year, I don't think. Another thing that would make sense if I did research on it before I just started flapping around my mouth, with the games that have come out this year. I'm just trying to think. Obviously, Last of Us 2, I've heard nothing but good things about it. I have not even finished Last of Us 1. It's one of those games that when it came out on the PlayStation 3, I wanted to play it, but, you know, I'm bad with that. I buy multiple games, I start them, I don't always finish them, which is not something I did when I was younger, but now I'm starting multiple games. I don't want to burn myself out on one thing too fast, also with work, you know, and it's just like, it might take me 5 months to complete a game, even if I am playing regularly, because like I said, I can't devote time like it is, like I used to be able to when I was a kid. I have responsibilities. So in that 5 months, I can't just focus on that one game. I have to be doing other things. So then it takes me even longer, because I'm not going to come home and play a video game every night. Some nights I want to come home and watch a movie. Some nights I'm just watching something stupid on TV with my fiance. Sometimes, you know, maybe we go out and do something. And so then that 5 months that it might normally take me to do something, and that's just going to work and coming home and playing the game and still keeping up on some of the responsibilities I have and not doing anything else that I enjoy, now becomes longer, because I want to enjoy other things while I'm doing it. I can't just focus on the one thing, like I said, so I don't burn myself out. I'm gonna drink my beer real quick. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I've messed up and I'm not sure where I'm going. Because I was talking about it being a 10 and still being my favorite game of the year. Oh yes, because I was talking about the fact that there hasn't been a whole lot of other things released this year. I was talking about Last of Us. So yes, I've not finished Last of Us. I hope to finish Last of Us. I hope to play Last of Us 2. So there's that. I can't think of anything else that's come out this year. So again, I think this game deserves Game of the Year. I think also Last of Us 2 would deserve Game of the Year. I have not played it, but based on what I know a lot of people didn't like it. I know a lot of people did like it. It's a very split thing. They made certain character choices, from what I understand, that people weren't totally behind. But then, obviously, just as many people were behind it and were totally okay with it. So, very much like Mass Effect, I feel like it's very divisive to everybody that's played it, because some people were really cool with the way that things happen with Shepard, and some people were totally not cool with the way that things happen with Shepard. I was on the boat that it was okay. To me, Mass Effect trilogy, those games are still some of the strongest storytelling in video game franchise history. I will go to my grave saying that. And that's including the choices they made in the third game with the story. You know, good characters don't always survive. Sorry. Game of Thrones has proven that. Other things have not been so gutsy as Game of Thrones or as Mass Effect. But the main character doesn't always survive. And that's sorry. And sorry to those who haven't played Mass Effect for the spoiler. It's a major spoiler. But at this point, if you haven't played it, I mean, it's over a 10-year-old series, guys. Like, at this point, spoilers should be forgiven. So, sorry. But yeah, so there hasn't been a ton to go up against this year. That doesn't mean it's undeserving of it, though. I think even if you threw this game in another year, it's gonna be punches to punches on like who would come out the victor. You know, this game definitely puts up a fight to anything else that comes up next to it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of cons, and like I said, the cons are minute ones if you're into the gameplay already. So, like I said, to me, this game's a 10. I just really like this game a lot. And so what did you guys think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you indifferent? Have you yet to play it yet? Do you plan on playing in the future? Let me know in the comments. Let's chit-chat. If you like the channel, if you're new to the channel because you only saw Ghost of Tsushima, welcome. I do reviews. Obviously, from behind me, you can see I've got action figures, I've got CDs, I've got Blu-ray, I read comic books. However, I'm not going to introduce that on this channel at all. I probably won't be talking about any comics. If you guys want to chit-chat with me on Instagram, you know, something like that. Hey, review the right thing. Did you check out this comic book? And I'll say yes or no. How is it? Did you like it? you know, you tell me what you guys think about stuff. I'm not the only reviewer. We're all mildly little reviewers. I just happen to have 150 people that maybe want to listen to what I have to say. So, and maybe there's more of you out there. Hence the reason I wanted to make the channel. So if you like it, check out my other videos. There's stuff on Blu-rays, there's stuff on figures. I've done very little so far. I've done a couple collection updates, yada yada yada. And if you like those things, continue to check out more. Click the bell, which now I'm trying to think how I edited this thing. Click the bell. Yeah. And if you want, you can also follow me on Instagram. Review the Right Thing. I've posted little stuff down here. And so, yeah. Really glad you guys are watching. Enjoying it if you are. I'm glad about that as well. And like I said, keep a watch out. You'll see my stuff come up. Get a little notification ding. Watch the video. Hit a little like. Or a don't like. If you don't like it, that's fine. Comment. Many of those things. They're just really nice to talk to you guys. Anyways, look forward to more reviews, and I'll be talking to you more soon.